Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about swollen lymph nodes in a toddler. And I wanted to make this video because my son was going through this. He had some swollen lymph nodes in his neck, and when I went to search it and look it up, everything that I could find was bad. Everything was pointing towards cancer and all the horrible things that you are terrified to see as a parent. So it started a few months back. My son had a cold. And I was just giving him his normal, like, Tylenol, stuff like that. His pediatrician said he's fine as long as, he's breathing okay and he doesn't have a fever, and it wasn't even that bad. So he went to walk down the stairs and he turned his head and I noticed some, like, bumps on the side of his neck. So I went to feel them, and I felt them on both sides of his neck, just on the side of his neck and a little bit under his jawline. So I instantly started freaking out because I've never heard of swollen lymph nodes before, so I wasn't educated on it at all. So of course I looked it up and it said horrible things, like I mentioned. So I instantly called his pediatrician. We get him seen. His pediatrician said everything's fine. Kids can easily get swollen lymph nodes that fight up because it's a sign their body is fighting off an infection. So it's very normal, very common, and he said he gets parents in his office all the time very worried about swollen lymph nodes. And he said when to worry is if your child gets a lump and you go to feel it and it's rock hard and it doesn't like roll under your neck, like under your fingers, sorry. And if it's just very hard, like a rock, and it doesn't move at all, that's when you should worry. And if it comes on for no reason, like he or she gets this hard lump that doesn't move for no reason, that's when you should worry, and you should definitely take him or her in to be seen immediately. So swollen lymph nodes, as his pediatrician told me, that they can be in the neck, right here, under the jawline, behind the ear. They can be in the neck, yeah. They can be under the armpits and by the groin area, like the area where like your thigh bends together. That's where they can be. He told me swollen lymph nodes where they shouldn't be is in the collarbone area, right here. I guess that's like a bad place for them to be. It's not a normal place. It's not a place where it shows that his or her body is just fighting off an infection. It shows that there's something else seriously wrong, I guess. As long as they're hard and don't move, that's when they're wrong. And the ones under your armpits, it's just your body fighting off an infection of wherever that swollen lymph node may be. He said, don't worry, because my son is potty trained, he's 2, and he said, don't be surprised or scared if your son gets swollen lymph nodes in his groin area, because you're switching from diapers to underwear, which may irritate his skin, and then his skin's going to try to fight off an infection. So his lymph nodes can swell up in that area. So as of right now, it's been a little bit, and he still has the swollen lymph nodes in his neck. And the doctor also told me that you can take a warm washcloth, get it wet, put castor oil on it, and wrap it around the area that the swollen lymph nodes are, and it'll help them go down drastically, which it did, because I did that with my son. And also, he said, don't be worried if the swollen lymph nodes aren't going away and he feels better. Say your son or daughter has a really bad cold, she gets swollen lymph nodes, and then all of a sudden she feels better, it's been a few weeks, and you still feel the swollen lymph nodes. Don't worry. Swollen lymph nodes can take up to 8 months just to get smaller. Not even go away all the way. They can take up to 8 months just to get smaller. And his pediatrician said that anything can make them flare up. If he or she were to get a scratch or a cut or a bruise or just a little runny nose, anything, an ear infection, anything can cause them to swell back up. So if your child gets swollen lymph nodes, everything you look up on the internet says they should go away into 2 to 4 weeks. If they're not gone in 2 to 4 weeks, go to the hospital. No. his pediatrician looked at him and he said it can take up to 8 months just for them to get smaller, because toddlers are going to be toddlers, they're going to fall, they're going to get scrapes, they're going to get sick, it just happens. So if your daughter or your son has swollen lymph nodes and they move around and they are not very large, maybe the size of a pea or a little bit larger. My son's biggest one is about this big, and as long as they move around, they're not rock solid, and they're not in any of the danger zone places, you have nothing to worry about, and it is just your son or your daughter's body trying to fight off an infection. So I really hope this video helps some people, because I know my son was going through it. I was freaking out, and I wish I had a video like this to show me that everything was okay, because honestly I was very scared from what I saw looking it up, and now I'm at ease of mind after my pediatrician told me this, so I hope I could help other people out. Thanks.